y'all. Hey. I'm doing this for the first time, going live and all this. So we're gonna see how it go. Yes, I'm laying on it, okay, and I'm happy about it. Um, in this middle Saharan desert, July. Woo! Good. You know, it's interesting because I think being in the arid Arizona desert for 3 summers prepared me for being able to withstand and endure the gloriousness of being in the Sahara Desert in the summer, okay? And honestly, which I hear in the background is a fan. I have an air conditioner, but here's what I like to do. This is a little fun fact about me. I like to go into environments in the natural space and not just go in straight on with all the modern conveniences, right? So, for instance, like an air conditioner, I usually try to see how my body can tolerate the natural environment and surroundings upon entry, right? So, if it's, or heater. So, if it's cold, I'll see if my body can adjust to it. And if it becomes unbearable, and I have a high tolerance for both pain and uncomfortability, um, then I just, relent and go with the modern conveniences. So for right now, I have not used the air conditioner at all. Maybe one night, the entire summer that I've been here in Egypt. So I've only used fans, and honestly enough, to their credence, the places that I've been and dwelt, the apartments and flats that I've been in, they're strategically located in a way that they don't get direct sunlight. They're very airy, as you can see, like here, very light and sunny, but they don't get direct sunlight and heat. So that makes a big difference, which I like. But anyway, what I got on here to talk about is vicarious parenting. And this is just one aspect in my observation, both being a parent as well as, now I have a young adult son. So, one thing I am very, very glad that I got an intervention on in my parenting is not to force my child to have uh, living through my son's life experience. Okay. So, for instance, I remember I was having a conversation with an individual years and years ago, and actually a couple individuals out. They were like, well, my child is going to do this, and that. This is the plan. And it's like, okay. And I didn't respond, in a judgmental way, or I didn't respond at all. I was like, okay, so that's what y'all gonna do. And I think it was more or less they were trying to see in those instances what my response is going to be with their plan or affirm it, and also have me compare notes as to what I was going to do with my son. I didn't give in to any of those, dynamics. I just said, okay, that's awesome, and kept it moving. But here's what I'm grateful for. So I'm grateful that early on in my parenting, I was told a particular thing, a wise, statement, which was to, be mindful of who I allow my son around, and as older as he gets, hold on to him tighter. Now, that didn't mean smother him, okay? But it also meant be mindful of the energies and the environments and the programmings that I allow others to infiltrate onto him, right? Before he is able to make up his own mind and develop his own mind and come up with his own ideas and what life should shape like for him, including myself. Meaning, I didn't want to vicariously project on my son what I think he should be doing and or living out my so-called dreams through him. All right? What that does is that it allows you as a parent to, and as an adult and as a whole human being, to continue on with living your dreams regardless of your age cap. Okay, because unfortunately this society is overly saturated with the ideas of what you should do with your life and how you should be programmed. Okay, so it's like, okay, once you hit a certain age, you should have accomplished this, and you should be doing this, and you should be living this kind of life. And that is so far from reality and truth and the real world, because as you travel, if you're blessed to do this, you will understand that age is only relative to certain societies and dynamics of civilization. Okay? Case in point, I was having a conversation with a couple of individuals that are trying to live abroad. They're still in the United States, but they're trying to live abroad. And one of them was asking, well, what is the age, for you to be able to do this and do that and do this, professionally speaking. And one of the women, chimed in and said, hey, I'm in my 70s and I don't get the age thing when I'm trying to perform or do or be involved in this certain particular aspect of life or development or profession or whatever in this particular part of the world. That's only something that's relative when you're in the States and so called Western cultures, that you have to put on this persona because of an age that you can only do certain things or you can't do certain things. You've passed the bloom of youth nonsense, right? And so, going back to the whole vicarious parenting aspect, and I have followed those individuals who gave me what their child was going to do, the whole outline, the whole blueprint of what their child was going to do by a certain age. And to be honest with you, none of them turned out that way. None of them. One of the children is in a different trajectory altogether. It's a good one, yes, it's good, but it was nothing in which the parent was saying, "Oh, well, they gonna do this, they gonna do that, and this is how it's gonna be, and this is the plan." No, not at all. So, actuality, that child has a better outcome because of the trajectory that has changed in a totally different dynamic. And yes, it takes a village. However, when you don't have a village, that can be a benefit also, because now that child has the freedom to create the life that they truly want. And the beauty of it is that they get to tweak it according to how life is allowing and expanding and growing and unfolding for them. And they're not confined to an age to do it. And they can change it at any time to their own benefit, as opposed to being in a program that would be to their detriment. And that program could be something as simple as what the parent thinks their life should be. So, a lot of times, a parent will say, "Oh, well, they need to do this and they do need to do that." But a lot of times it's so suggestive because that's an accomplishment that the parent didn't make, and so they want the child to live out that life for them. And they don't understand it's a vicarious parenting that is very destructive and can be very toxic and is not realistically divinely aligned with the child's purpose in this life experience, if that makes any sense at all to anyone that I'm saying this to, or at the hearing of the sound of my voice of this recording. So one of the things that I'm glad that I got an intervention is, don't try to force my ideals on my son as to what his life is supposed to look like. Yes, I want to ensure that he is living his best life. However, it's his choice to what that is supposed to look like for him. I can only guide and love and divine intuitiveness to do that for him on his behalf. But other than that, it is not my call or permission to force or infringe upon his right to live in the ways that are going to be to his best outcome and income favorably for him. in that also, I retain my true identity and dreams realized through me, as opposed to trying to project it onto others and have them live out my dreams. I can only live out my dreams, and I'm doing it beautifully. Okay, so that's all I want to say. I'm gonna go on off, but I just wanted to share that, and hopefully that little tidbit and impart an element, not the whole summation of vicarious parenting. I may get into it in another dynamic and POV, but this is just something that I just wanted to draft speaking wise and be a first time liver on YT, YouTube. Some people will take that and me saying that from a totally different dynamic, but that's weird. Okay, y'all stay delicious. Peace.